Likewise.
This is our first show, not in studio. We've actually went out. We're here today, me and Show.
Hi. It's good to be somewhere new though.
It is, isn't it? Yeah. And it's fresh air.
Change the scenery.
Yeah, and definitely change the scenery.
And it's a nice day.
Yeah. Well, today we've got a special guest with us today. We've come here to see him. His name's Elliot. He does so much for the youth out there. It's unbelievable. One of the reasons we're doing this interview, so you know what, so he can be recognised out there for the hard work that he does, because he does a lot of hard work, and what he's doing, we need more of this around, especially for the younger generations. So on that note, nice to meet you, Elliot.
Nice to meet you.
Welcome to the KAPS staff.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you for having me.
It's alright.
So we'll start off this. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, so my name's Elliot Nash, have you heard already? I started a company called Primal Mater, which we do a variety of different activities, from archery to axe throwing to conflict resolution to woodwork. But alongside Primal Mater as a limited company, I've also started an anti-knife crime unit called Trade a Blade, which is an anti-knife crime initiative whereby you can literally trade a blade for either a free session at the activity centre, or if you're particularly interested in the woodwork, you could use the Trade a Blade initiative to trade a blade for tools that you need to go alongside the skills that you've just learned. So you've got the knowledge and the equipment that you need to go and start making some legal money for yourself without living a life where you're looking over your shoulder and worrying about who you're going to run into when you're out shopping with your family.
So you know, when you got into this, before you got into this, what was you doing before you started working?
So I've worked in the security industry for 13 years now. That's been my main source of income. But alongside doing security, I also do a lot of woodwork at home. I try and offer a cost-effective option for people that can't afford to go to B&Q and Home Base and spend big money on garden furniture. So we use reclaimed pallets, break them down and then reassemble them into garden furniture, tables, chairs, benches. And because I managed to reduce my cost by getting these materials for free, I can reflect that in the price. So I enjoy the work, first and foremost, to start off with. So it's more of a hobby that keeps me busy. And if I can able to offer somebody a more affordable option and that can help that way, then it's just a win-win for me. It's not really something that I got into for the money side of it, to be honest. Yeah, so it was just to keep myself active, and I enjoy doing the work, and just make hard times a bit easier for people, so they can still enjoy the weather in our gardens without having to break the bank to do it.
Yeah, it's true. But a lot of things are expensive these days.
Yeah, most definitely.
So you know, do you find that, like, you know, with everything that you're doing, do you find that you're getting enough help for what you're doing?
I am getting a lot of help. I can't say that I'm not. There's been massive amounts of support from an amazing woman called Avril. She started a company called A Vision. I've been working alongside her now for easily over a year as a youth mentor. So we go into schools, year 10s, so they're around like 11, 12, that kind of age range. And we also go into prisons as well for people that have been convicted of gang-related or violent-related activities. So we go into them 3 months before they're due to be released. We do a self-improvement and employability course, so we can hopefully break the vicious cycle and get them onto a different path when they come out, start them on something positive. There's, through Asian, there's a program called BEST, whereby it helps people get into entrepreneurship and self-employment. So over a 12-week period, they have help from a financial advisor to put together a business plan. And once it's been submitted, they've got 13 weeks to be operational. So long as they meet that criteria and the business plan reflects that the numbers that it's a viable business, then you get access to a grant of up to £1,500, as well as an additional 12-month support from a financial advisor to show you how to do your business rates, show you how to do invoicing, how to do your tax, everything that you need to know to run a business. It doesn't matter whether it's a t-shirt printing press, whether it's a food van, so long as the business plan reflects that it's a viable business, then they're willing to invest into it to help you already. £1,500, it's not a vast amount of money in the grand scheme of things of opening a whole business, but it's most definitely speeds things up. It's a program that I've personally done myself, so I've gone through the process. I know that it works, so this is why I'm happy to try and get as many other people onto it as well. The program's designed for people who are up to 35 years of age that have got previous criminal convictions.
Okay, so anyone with a criminal conviction can go for that plan?
Yeah. Having criminal convictions, it closes a lot of doors, and we're very aware of this. So that's a big trigger for people going back to a life of crime because they can't find conventional employment. So this is why we try and encourage people to become self-employed or go down entrepreneurship and start their own business so they can work for themselves and not have to rely on other individuals to provide them with a source of income.
So, you know, like working on the children's side, children can be very hard. Do they lose attention sometimes, or are they always focused with what you're doing?
It varies with individuals and different types of kids, but because of the nature of the events, they're very physical. We do have them engaging. It's not really that we have children bored and not wanting to get involved. They do enough paperwork in class when they're at school, so we try and get away from that. So the activities that we're doing, they're very physical. Yeah, we most definitely, we keep their attention. At the beginning of the day, some children seem a bit timid or a bit shy, but throughout the day, after completing the activities and looking back with satisfaction with the things that they've created, they're really, you see a different side to them altogether. They transform throughout the day, just over a few hours. It's a massive difference from the children that come in at the start of the day that are quiet and timid to the confident and comfortable young adults who leave at the end of the day. It's a massive transformation in just a small amount of time.
How does it make you feel?
Useful, worthwhile, most definitely. Yeah, I like helping out where I can.
Does it feel like you accomplished what you wanted to?
Most definitely. Yeah, even if we only get through to one child, and then that one child doesn't go out and do a madness, it now potentially saves two families. Because with knife crime, it's not just a person that ends up dead and buried that's lost, the family that's lost a child. It's also the other family, the perpetrator, that's lost a child as well. So that's something that's not to forget. There's a massive knock-on effect. It's not just one person you save from getting stabbed, it's a whole two families that you save from being devastated on both sides.
Have you worked with any victims of crime yet?
Yeah, throughout this we've met multiple people that have either been held at knife points and robbed or have been stabbed and attacked. So it's unfortunately becoming more and a more common thing. And I've took the standpoint that if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. So everybody's got their little bit, even if you're not on the front line like I am taking the knives off the streets and putting out classes, even if it's just raising awareness, that makes a massive difference. It's all well and good having these different facilities going on and all of these different programs. But if people don't know they exist, it's not going to be beneficial to the community. So my main obstacle at the moment is just raising awareness, because it's a relatively new scheme and we're not, as I say, established yet. The more people know about it, the better. We try to extend these services to as many different people as possible. Doesn't matter what area. Everybody's got something to learn from it. Everybody can take something away that they're going to use in their everyday life that can be beneficial to themselves and those around them as well. Especially with the woodwork class, it's something that you can save yourself money, so you don't have to go out and buy these things, but it's also something that you can make money from as well, from the items that you make, and then you can then go and resell.
Yeah. So, you know, with that then, so when you teach them the objective that they can get a piece of wood and make something from this and make money.
Yeah.
How are they when you actually tell them what they're like?
Shocked that it's so easy to make a decent living. Unfortunately, like if they've already been part of a life of crime and they're committed to road life, it's very hard to then convince them to come out and go and work minimum wage in a supermarket or doing retail, because of the money that they're used to seeing in a short amount of time. However, with the woodwork, we teach them on like reclaimed wood that we get for free. But once they've practiced enough on that, they can spend less than £50 to get the materials, like the good quality hardwood and the varnish that they need to make something that they can retail for £130, £150. So once you've taken out your costs, you're still earning £100 in a little over an hour. So it's a good turnover. It's a very, very good turnover.
Very good turnover.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of them they're looking to designer clothes and you know, it's not cheap designer clothes.
No, not at all. Not at all. So if you want to live that kind of lifestyle, then you need to find a legal way of sustaining it. And working for yourself doing carpentry is a perfect way, just like that. It doesn't take a lot to set up at all. You only have to come to a few of the classes to gain the skills, and then, as I mentioned earlier, with the trade blade scheme, you don't even have to spend a penny to go and buy the tool. If you're already around people that carry knives, or you carry them yourself, if you bring them in, you'll trade the blade for hammer, chisel, set square, tape measure, everything that you need to go along with the skills that you've learned. So you can start a business for yourself for free, basically. It's not going to cost you a penny.
So do you find, because I know with parents as well, you must have some parents who are like, when they hear it, axe throwing and this, they're like, no, I'm not sending my kid, you know, it's dangerous. So
yeah, before we started up, it was something that I was very conscious about, and it was on the forefront of my mind. It's not coming across as hypocritical. So on one side of it, be an advocate of anti-knife crime, but then on the other side, be promoting the use of equipment. And I could stress that enough, that it's equipment, and they only become weapons when you attach a negative mentality and behaviour on them. In and of itself, these inanimate objects are not going out. As I said, the mentality that you have and the approach and behaviour that you have towards these things then makes them a weapon for devastating violence, whereas for their intended purposes, whether it be recreational target sports in the axe throwing or the bushcraft in the camping, these are the appropriate and designed uses for these pieces of equipment. So we're trying to change the mentality towards knives as weapons.
because I know a lot of them when they see a knife or axe or even anything what looks like a weapon to them, that's a weapon.
Yeah. Any inanimate objects within reason can be adapted to become a weapon. Though. It's not the knife itself that's going out and killing people. It's about your mindset and how you approach these things.
So that's good that so you teach them all that side there to learn that knife should be used in the appropriate place in the correct way.
Yeah, and very much so like with a lot of martial arts, once you become a lot more capable, you exercise a lot more restraint because you're very aware of the consequences of your actions. A lot of the time, the consequences are just not spoken about. You don't realise that it takes very minimal efforts to push a knife on someone, and that is it, finished. That might not have even been your intention to take a life, but it does not take a lot of effort to take a life. You can do it accidentally, you can be lashing out just in a defensive movement, and you can still end up bringing a life to end, and then that you lock up for how long as well. So it's two people that are devastated. You lose one to a box and one to a cage.
Yeah, that's true. And there's so many parents out there what that's happened to.
Too many.
It's way too many. So we do need to try and stop it now, you know. And that's why I'm glad that you do things like this, because this helps. Yeah.
It's a start. It's a start. I'm trying to encourage other people in their local areas to start similar initiatives as well, where they start amnesty services, where you can establish a safe place that people can come to get support and guidance on how to deal with gang activity and violence, and a safe place where you can dispose of these bladed articles, because as I'm sure you're quite aware, not everybody's comfortable enough to walk into a police station with an offensive weapon and not think that they're either going to get detained, excessively questioned, might try and take the prints off of some funny man business. You just don't know, the trust is not there in the community. So I'm trying to bridge the gap and offer an alternative. So you can come, hand in an offensive weapon here, no questions asked, keep it moving. Or you can hand it in and claim a free session doing one of the activities. Or if you want to take it a step further, you could stay and get onto the best program through A-Vision that I mentioned earlier to help people start up their own businesses so they can turn their back on their life and crime for good.
So do you know, because a lot of people always like to put the blame here, there. Do you think that the police are to blame for how the knife crime, or do you think it's a community? Who do you think should be blamed?
The individual that's carrying the knife, first and foremost. Nobody's forced you to pick an item up and carry it out the streets and have it in a public place. So the sole responsibility is with the individual that's carrying this in the first place. And a common misconception, which I can't stress enough, is knives are not self-defense weapons. You don't pull out a knife and it's a magic wand and you just got some kind of magic shield around you that protects it. A lot, 9 times out of 10, you just makes the situation 10 times worse. Because you pull out a knife and then somebody else pulls out a knife and then it just adds fuel to the fire. And you can get stabbed, and if the knife's sharp enough, you don't even realise you've been stabbed, and you can still potentially go on to fatally wound somebody else. So to say you're carrying a knife for protection is just absurd. It's ridiculous. Knives are not self-defense weapons.
So no, especially where I'm from, the whole lot, to be honest with you, it's been going up and up and up and right, and it's no longer an area or colour or anything like that. It's just out there. It's really it's a bit too much. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Most definitely. So it's becoming more and more common.
Yeah, it does. This is why this is what you said earlier. You are right that there's no trust with the community and the police. Or the police would work.
It does. It does.
Definitely.
Well, it's really good what you're doing. It's very good. And it's moving this very far, and I hope it gets bigger and it goes where you want it to go.
Hopefully so. I'm trying to set up Primal Master as a franchise that will have in all major cities, and hopefully that'll yield enough profit so we can go and buy land outright, so we can take people out of the concrete jungle and show them a completely different way of life, show them a more natural way of living.
And they're paying for it as well, weren't they? Because you're setting them up for it.
Exactly that. Exactly that.
So yeah, because you do the camping as well, don't you? So
We plan to, yeah. We're trying to get our hands on a minibus so we can get together a large group so people haven't got to worry about transport and how they're going to get there. We'd meet at one of the Primal Mastery centres and then we'd go from there. And then we'd drop back on the weekend as well. We take everything that we need with us, like food-wise, and then the rest of it from the shelter we find when we're there. That's the whole point of going out there, so you can teach people survival skills. Yeah, so when you get there nice and early on the morning, you'd make the shelter that you're going to be sleeping in on the night, and then you'd make the fire from scratch that you're going to cook the food on. And then the next morning, we can go into all the different activities, axe throwing, archery, bushcraft, these types of things.
Yeah, that's really good. That's really
Hopefully we
good.
could find a place with some water, we could get some canoeing and kayaking in there as well. But yes, there's plenty of room, for expansion. Work in progress.
So it's nothing like glamping, is it?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Remember,
It's nothing to do with glamping. You might as well go and stay in a hotel if you want to do glamping.
Because you get some people who talk about this glamping now. When I first heard it, I was like, what's that?
Yeah.
I didn't understand,
No, we don't promote that. We more prefer the rough and ready approach to it. More rustic, authentic feel to camping, as it should be.
So you know while you're camping, you teach them all different flowers and the berries and all things like that as well.
Just the basics, because the amount of time that we've got them, it's just not enough time, in all honesty. Like we can show like just the basic stuff, like it's stuff that people don't know already. It's like if you eat stinging nettles, then usually close by there's burdock leaves, and that will counteract the sting in them. But to teach all of the different poisonous berries and mushrooms, it'll take a lot longer than a weekend, in all honesty. But we can touch on the basics. The things that we teach them to look out for is the appropriate materials that they're going to need to build the shelter that they're going to stop in. Yeah.
So you know you build these shelters,
Yeah.
you use all the wood around and you basically build like your own authenticity. Is that
Yeah, you build it from scratch. You take from nature, you take from the woods and the forest, and you can source materials to make a shelter that's going to protect you from the elements.
So you use the leaves.
You don't need to take a tent with you, things like this.
Oh, so you don't take a sheet, nothing like that?
No, not everything you find in it. Bring your sleeping bag. We bring a sleeping bag. But the shelter itself, we source from the area that we're stopping in.
That's survival, that is a survival.
Survival.
That's proper survival.
It's very satisfying as well once you've built it with a team of people. Get everybody together, everybody's working together, and then you're sitting at the end, and it's very satisfying knowing that you've built this yourself.
Wait, I think I need to go out there myself and start learning to build some of these things, because when I ain't got a house or get kicked out of the house, at least I know what to do.
You got options.
Got options.
You got options.
You know? Seriously. But Elliot, really, what you're doing is brilliant, and Show said it earlier, and I'm going to say it to you as well. You are doing something amazing out there. You do, you know, I know really, you know, your own self, I know that you probably don't think, you know, anything, but you should be up there, because what you're doing is a brilliant thing. The youth out there, they need this, they need something like this. So the one thing we will say from KAPS off, if anybody's out there, we'll leave contact details for Elliot. So please do get in contact if you want him to work along. Please get involved. It's only a day, right? But basically, if you come down, it's here in Birmingham. If you come down to Trinity Street, Upper Trinity Street, come down, come and see what he's doing. You can send your children in from 8 to 16-year-olds.
11 to 16.
Oh, 11 to 16. 11 to 16, and make sure you just see what's going on, because it's a beautiful thing. And it does teach your children loads of different skills that they're not learning through an iPad.
Facts.
So on that note there, I'm going to say thank you so much to Elliot. It's not the last you're going to see at Elliot, because we've got loads more to do alongside with Elliot. But all I'm going to say from here is thank you so much, Elliot, for your time.
Thank you for having me on. It's been a pleasure.
Busy. And as much as we can promote you, we'll promote you.
It needs doing. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, definitely.
It needs doing. You lead by example and be the positive change that you wish to see in the world.
Definitely.
It's not good enough sitting at home saying, oh, that needs to change, that needs to change. What are you doing about it?
Get out and do it.
Yeah.
Really go.
So if you haven't got any solutions, you shouldn't be complaining about the problems.
Exactly that. Exactly that.
And usually we do ask everyone what do they see themselves like for the future, but you already told us. We already clapped onto that one, so I ain't even going to ask you that one. What are you going to say from KAPS off? If you need any help, definitely your future's bright. And
as I said, it's just to raise awareness of putting the hard work, the blood, sweat into is to build this in the first place. But now to take it to the next level and get people making good use of these facilities, I need help to spread the word. So tell a friend to tell a friend.
Well, that's what we're here to do for you as well as KAPS off. So
Appreciate
you heard that already, everyone.
Tell a friend to tell a friend.
Tell a friend. Like, share and subscribe. Like, share and subscribe.
Exactly that.
It's at Primal Mater on Instagram and Facebook.
So you've got that, and we're going to leave the link at the bottom so you can see it as well. On that note there, until next time, I hope everyone enjoyed the show, and we will see you again soon. Don't know where we're going to be, if we're in the studio or we're going to be anywhere, don't know yet, but you'll soon see, you'll soon see. Anyway, make sure you keep safe. Whatever you do, if there's anyone out there, please, one thing I ask for all of you is just be nice to the person that you can see. You know, you don't need to always be angry face and, you know, start wars and fights. You know, we can have a little bit of peace just to have a bit of humanity.
Life's hard enough as it is. We're not making it harder than each other. You never know what people are going through behind closed doors. So don't underestimate the small acts of kindness. Even if you're just smiling at another person, that might all they needed to restore their faith in humanity.
Trust me.
Exactly.
And
Spread
that
that
might make
positivity.
their day, week,
Most
anything,
definitely.
anything. So please do. And on that note there, peace out from KAPS off, and we'll see you soon.
Peace.
Okay everyone, now we've just moved on to the woodwork class. This is where all the woodwork gets handled and dealt with. Elliot, tell us what you do here, please.
So this is part of the woodwork class where we teach people practical skills that they can use in their everyday life. So the basic thing that we make in the first class is a wooden cross, just because it's very basic and quick to do in our slot that we've got. But these joinery techniques can be used to make tables, benches, chairs. Your imagination is the limit, really.
So you know when you do this then, do you actually, is it nails and glue that you use to connect it?
No, not at all. So you can see here on one that hasn't been finished yet. You cut out half on this section and then you do the same on here, and then they fit together just like a jigsaw. So if you measure it properly and cut it precisely, it's a nice, tight, strong fit, and we also put wood glue in there as well to make sure it's solid.
That is, no way. So they learn all these skills while they're here?
Yeah, so just within the 1 hour's class they can pick up skills that they can then go home with and put to good use and start making things in their own time and selling to make a decent legal living and out of a life of crime. So then we're going to live a life looking over the shoulder.
What age range do you do?
So this class is designed for 11 to 16-year-olds. We start as early as 8 years old, and there's not really an upper limit on it. As long as you're physically able, then you're more than welcome to come down and learn something new.
Okay.
We also run an initiative called Trade a Blade, which is an anti-knife crime initiative, where you can literally bring an offensive weapon in and trade a blade for file, tape measure, saw. So you've then got the tools to go along with the skills that you've just learnt. So you can take them home and make things in your own time without having to spend a penny on investment for your startup costs.
That is brilliant. So basically, anyone with a knife who comes in, hands it into you, you actually give them something to go back out there and do something with their actual knife.
Most definitely. Trying to turn a negative into a positive.
So where did you get the idea of that then? How did that come along?
In all honesty, I've taken a lot of inspiration from other amnesty services such as Faz Amnesty. A guy called Farron Paul down in London is doing a lot of good work. He's teamed up with people like Steel Warriors, and their initiative is they take knives off the street and then they melt them down, repurpose them into playground equipment or gym equipment, so they put them back out into the community to do some positive. So I've taken a lot of inspiration for that, so I'm swapping the knives and then giving them back the tools that they need to go along with the skills that they've learned in the woodwork class.
That is really good. That is good. So you found with a lot of the children, because I know some of the children these days, when they do come into this class here, do you find some of them already they have the skill to be, work with the wood? Do you find that you have to start from basics with them?
It ranges really, and it all depends on the individual. The basic skills that we're teaching in this class is no more advanced from what they should have learned first time around in the school. If for whatever reason, due to behavioural problems or problems at home with having been in school and they missed that opportunity first time around, we're trying to give them a second bite to the apple and give them the opportunity to gain the skills that they can use in their everyday life.
No, that is really good.
Some children take a natural interest to it and they pick it up very well. They've got natural ability, a lot of hand-eye coordination. Others we need to spend a bit more time with on a one-to-one basis and give them the support that they need.
So like with the wood and that then, is it people donating the wood for you, or how do you get hold of the wood?
A lot of the times we get materials, I go and source them from different industrial areas. A lot of companies, they get materials delivered on pallets, and once they've used those products, the pallets just get piled up in a corner and take up space on their yard. So I go in and explain the program that we've got going on, and I kindly ask them if I could take it off their hands. I'll be doing them a favour by clearing the space, and they'll be doing me a favour by saving me, keeping the cost down, buying the materials for the kids to use.
That is really
A lot of the time this stuff just gets broken up or burns or thrown in a skip. So we're putting it to good use.
Yeah.
You're helping the environment.
Recycling basically as well,
Yeah. So the next thing I was going to ask you was that, because I know you can see the space that you've got, you get a lot of big groups in here then?
We can cater for 10 kids per class. So this space is adequate enough. We pair them up so they're working in teams. So they're working on their people skills and their social skills at the same time as learning something practical as well.
Yeah, so the team builds up.
Most definitely.
That is really good, that is.
It's a nice space as well. It's a very nice space.
Yeah. And these days, I know that most kids are on their phones and computers, so to see them getting that into hard work and working wood and that,
And interacting and
with each other, it's
it's
really
not stuck
good.
on the tablets.
Yeah, they're doing something
And
practical.
devices, yeah.
Developing the hand-eye coordination skills.
So you
things
get,
like that.
you get boys and girls doing it as
Yeah,
well?
we do mixed classes. There's not predominantly more than one or the other. It's quite an even split. It's a nice balance.
Yeah.